What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and today this is part 21 of my ranking and reviewing Frank Zappa's guitar solos within the context of an album, 1973's Over-Nite Sensation. Got two things to say before I get into the solos. The rhythm section, the rhythm section, the rhythm section. In particular, all of them. Ralph Humphrey on drums, George Duke on keyboards, piano's a percussion instrument. And the absolutely amazing, ridiculous, oh my goodness, is he good, Tom Fowler on bass. Also Ruth Underwood on percussion. But when we get to the solos, because that's what we're talking about, the solos, that bass playing is ridiculous. Man, is Tom Fowler good. The bass playing alone elevates these solos to like next level stuff. But the entire rhythm section, ridiculous. This entire band, ridiculous. This album just sounds fantastic. All of these solos are super, super tasty. Frank is doing nothing but delivering up the tastiest of treats. I love his tone. Every solo seems to be a little bit of everything. It's like, I don't know, he's attacking the whole time, but at times he's noisy, at times he's mean, at times he's maybe kind of melodic. It's just Frank at his absolute, just pure best. Is there a complaint about the solos? Yeah, they're all too short. They're all just too short. One of them manages to like feel complete, where I feel like the ending doesn't come too soon. That might be because of the construction of the solo and the way it kind of bleeds into the rest of the song. But all the rest of them, one of them fades out, which is a complete crime. The other one's just, I'm always like, I want more of this because this is good. So I'm not really going to penalize them for being too short, but they could have ranked higher had they been longer and had they not faded out. There's 5 of them, so I'm just going to talk about them in order. Then I'll put the list on the screen. Then I'll put the list of where this album falls among the other 20 that I've done. So let's get into them. Fantastic solos. Number 5 is the I'm the Slime solo, the first solo on here. Again, too short, fades out. As soon as we're in that groove and we're just like, oh my gosh, this is good, you can just hear the volume start to decrease as we're riding out. It's a pretty sad moment. It hurts my heart. But it's a great solo. Slime solos are always great. The groove, this rhythm, this band, like nothing wrong with this. It's just a really, really good time for way too short of a time. Number 4 is Dirty Love, which is by design shorter. It's, in the middle of a song. It's not an ending solo, so Frank has a limited amount of space. And so it's always going to be a shorter solo, but what Frank does in that shorter time span, he delivers. It's impactful. The energy is good. It's a great rock song. Dirty Love really could have been a hit. It should have been all over the place. The tone on this is amazing. He comes in, he's squealing, he's squeaking, and then he just gets kind of gritty and dirty. There's none of that underwater shimmering on this album that would like utterly, like, for my tastes, ruin the Fall 73 solos on a lot of occasions. It's a dirty solo in some dirty love. Number 3, 50-50. The tone somehow is even better. Or maybe I think he's just playing a lot of like really, really low notes. And so there's it's just a weird darkness to this solo, or I don't know what it is, but I really like the tone on this. Fowler is absolutely ridiculous. It's pretty dirty, pretty straightforward. This is probably the most like pedal to the metal from start to finish solo that Frank does in here. It's really like he's just like racing towards the end. The whole solo section is fantastic in 50-50. I said this was 50-50, right? Again, probably too short. It could have gone on longer, but still another really absolutely ridiculously fantastic solo. And Tom Fowler's bass playing on this. And then we get to two almost near perfect solos. The one that's number 2, if it had been longer, I think would also rank up there in like the perfect echelon of Frank solos. The one at number 1 on this list, I think it's a perfect solo. Number 2, every time we drop into that, I'm riding old tiny horse, I'm like, that came way too soon. But the Montana solo is fantastic. again, that Montana funk that this rhythm band plays, you can't play a bad solo when the band is dropping that kind of rhythm behind it. The solo is great. It's kind of Montana-y. It's a little more exploratory than some of the live Montanas from this era, which were just a really good feel funk time. Frank's bringing a little more diversity to the landscape, but it's a solid 73 ultra funky kind of exploratory, needs to go on longer, but it's nonetheless making you happy type of Frank Zappa guitar solo. Like this album, whatever he's doing when he was in the studio on this is what he should have done, this is what he should have done in fall 73. Would have made it a much more interesting tour. I'm focused on fall 73 because the previous videos were all focused on fall 73. This came out in September of 73 before he got, the extra drummer, the extra vocalist, and went on tour with that band. And then we get a perfect solo. I'm pretty sure this made my all-time, this made my all-time top 10 Zappa solo list, I'm pretty sure. Zombie Wolf. Yeah, this is just an absolutely perfect. It almost sounds like in the middle, there's parts when he's like scraping the strings and bending them and making a bunch of noise. It sounds like the solo is the description of a wolf, no L in that word, of a wolf attack. And like in the middle, the attack is happening. And then afterwards, you have sort of the self-satisfied smugness of a zombie wolf who just devoured a victim and is now going to go on to another one. And then it just goes back into that like lead in back into the song. It's nasty. It's ugly. You got to turn it up loud because it's just, it's violent. It feels violent, but in a cartoonish zombie wolf sort of way. It is a perfect example of a Frank Zappa guitar solo. And it's in the studio. It wasn't live, which is absolutely amazing that Frank was able to drop this in the studio. He always says he has good studio solos, but he eventually started to anachronize so much stuff because I think he thought his live stuff was better. But man, this is a fantastic, almost perfect solo. It is a perfect solo. Zombie Wolf. It's absolutely, the song is perfect. The guitar solo is perfect. It's nasty. It's ugly. It is just works perfectly in this song. But yeah, 5 fantastic solos right there. That's what they look like in writing. All of them are great. No complaints. One of them is perfect. Another one, had it gone on for another maybe 30 seconds, definitely a minute, I think could have been perfect if that quality obviously was maintained. All of them are great. Where does this album fall in the list of all the albums I've done so far? I would put it right there. Yeah, kind of, those top ones are all pretty close numerically. I do rank the solos and give them numbers to make this easier. So it's a number 6. Those are all really, really good releases. And I think Zombie Wolf as the number 1 solo on here might top some of the solos on those other ones. But those other ones have things like Zoodalures Explorations. No, they don't. Mud Club. Yeah, no, they don't. I don't know what I'm talking about. The other ones have the Vidi Kaliuta 80 Attack. Transfusion has so many. So Zoodalures, no Zoodalures on those. There is, but no, never mind. There's not. But anyways, yeah, number 6, which is good because those are all really, really good. Those just have maybe more guitar solos and maybe slightly more better ones. But numerically, they all 2 and 1 were above the other ones, but then Transfusion, Mud Club Munich, Volume 4, and Over-Nite Sensation are all kind of tied. And I dropped it here mainly because the solos are short, and there's only 5 of them. So that ultimately shouldn't matter, but the shortness of them. But anyways, number 6, I think that's a good place to land. I'm rambling. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got for Over-Nite Sensation. As far as guitar solos go, an excellent, excellent, excellent release. In fact, this is an excellent release all around. The only reason I have a video about that. I'm not going to go into it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, all that kind of stuff. Tell me why you disagree with my opinion. If you think something is better than it is. But Zombie Soul is perfect. How could you disagree with that? And go listen to Zombie Wolf right now and listen to one of the best solos Frank ever did. All right. Peace, y'all. Talk to you later.